Thank you very much, please. We greatly appreciate your joining us at this White House event. This is a very important and remarkable occasion. Today we take a momentous step, one that has never been taken before with China, toward a future of fair and reciprocal trade as we sign phase one of the historic trade deal between the United States and China. Together we are righting the wrongs of the past and delivering a future of economic justice and security for American workers, farmers, and families. I want to thank President Xi, who is watching as we speak, and I'll be going over to China in the not too distant future to reciprocate. But I want to thank President Xi, a very, very good friend of mine. We're representing different countries. He's representing China, I'm representing the US, but we've developed an incredible relationship. But I want to thank him for his cooperation and partnership throughout this very complex process. Our negotiations were tough, honest, open, and respectful, leading us to this really incredible breakthrough. Most people thought this could never happen. Should have happened 25 years ago, by the way, but that's okay. A man who also has become a good friend of mine and somebody who's very, very talented and very capable. We're delighted to be joined by Vice Premier Liu He and Ambassador Shui and many other representatives from the People's Republic of China. We are especially proud of the efforts of Vice President Mike Pence, who is with us. And Mike, I'd like to have you say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to be here with you, with Vice Premier Liu He, with our Treasury Secretary, with Ambassador Lighthizer, with so many distinguished guests, members of Congress, governors from around the country. This is a good day for America, China, and the world, and it's an honor to be with you. Mr. President, we gather here today thanks to your leadership at a time that the American economy is booming. With the strong support of members of Congress who are gathered here, we are now experiencing an economy that's created more than 7 million jobs. Unemployment rate is at a 50-year low. The average American's household income has risen by more than $5,000. That's all a result of your commitment to cut taxes, roll back regulation, unleash American energy. But it also reflects your commitment to free, fair, and reciprocal trade. Early in this administration, you made it clear that the era of economic surrender was over, and you took a strong stand for American jobs and American workers. You said to our friends in China that things had to change, and thanks to your leadership, today the change begins. Thanks to your efforts, Mr. President, we announced today great progress on protecting intellectual property, on preventing forced technology transfer and currency manipulation. And I know it means so much to you. The greatest impact may well be on American agriculture. Some $40 to $50 billion in purchases secured in this deal that'll result in greater prosperity for farmers all across the land. Mr. President, your commitment to a growing and prosperous America has been the centerpiece of your leadership. And today, with the signing of phase one, is one more example of your commitment to put American jobs and American workers first. And we recognize, as you do, Mr. President, the differences will remain between our two nations, but today is the start of a new chapter in trade relations between the two largest economies in the world. But I can assure the American people that this president will continue to stand firm and put America first, even as we forge a more productive relationship with China and with the world. Mr. President, you know there's an ancient Chinese proverb that says, men see only the present, but heaven sees the future. So let today be the beginning of a brighter future, more prosperous for the American people, the Chinese people, and the world. Thank you, Mr. President.
Great job, Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. An incredible job. Incredible guy. I also want to give special thanks to our U.S. Trade Representative, who's been kept very busy. He's doing a lot of deals. We'll have another big one next week. It should get approved very shortly, and that'll be tremendous with Canada and Mexico. But we'll talk about that next week. But Robert Lighthizer, are we keeping you busy enough? Huh? Poor guy can't sleep. He tosses and turns. What happened to him?
I'm sorry.
Oh.
That was dropped, and
Oh, okay.
I'm all purpose.
Thanks. Mike, that's right, you are all purpose, come to think. But Bob Lighthizer is really an outstanding guy, gets along with people, he's smart, he's sharp, and he understands trade better than anybody. When I first took this, I said, I got to get the best guy. And all signs pointed to Robert Lighthizer, so thank you very much, Bob. Thank you very much.
这里是海外华人直播。我们现在在报道白宫的情况。现在您正在收听收看的是海外华人直播。你认为这是一个容易的工作，还是一个难的工作？
Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin has worked with Bob hand in hand, and thank you very much, Steve. Great job.
还是说贸易部长做了很多艰难的工作。
So this really is a landmark agreement, but along with them, we had the exceptional efforts of Jared Kushner. Where is Jared? Where is Jared?
川普总统认为这是一个里程碑式的协议。还有表扬了一位工作人员。
Very prosperous real estate business, and came here, and I can tell you that was harder. This is harder than real estate in New York, isn't it, Jared? But you've done a fantastic job. You don't get people like that. So
他表扬了一个做房地产的一个经济。
Also, somebody that I've heard for 35 years. The voice is just a great gentleman, a friend of mine, but a great gentleman. We brought him in, and he has been outstanding. The only problem is he doesn't like going on television very much. He's a little bit shy about that. Larry Kudlow. Where's Larry?
Larry Kudlow 这个人他是过去不太愿意出镜头的一个人。 川普总统每一个人都照顾到。
In other words, it was one of those few days because we've had 141 days where we hit all-time highs, and we just broke, as you know, the 29,000 mark on the Dow just now as we're walking in. Markets up substantially today. With all these business leaders, I'm sure they don't care.
这谈判进行了
But Larry
141天。
Kudlow went out into the beautiful lawns of the White House. Actually, he was standing in the middle of the Rose Garden. He had a beautiful scarf waving in the wind. He was everything perfect, right out of Greenwich, Connecticut. And he started
川普
talking.
总统讲话非
By
常
the
幽
time
默
we。finished, I said, "You just made $1 trillion, a trillion," because the market went up like 250 points. I said, "Larry, what the hell did you say?" And it didn't matter, but we were even. We went from being $1 trillion down to even, and that was pretty good. Larry, you've been fantastic. Thank you very much. And by the way, I just see in the audience our great ambassador to China, right, Governor? So we had the governor of Iowa, and he loves China. And you're the longest serving governor in the history of our country, like 24 years. And I called him and said, you have to do me a favor, because I remember one conversation I had with him. I was going in to make a speech before the election. And he said, "Sir, please don't say anything bad about China." It's the first time anyone ever said that to me. And I said, "Who is this guy?" He's the governor of Iowa. He just said, "Don't say bad about China." So I had to rip up about half of my speech, right? And I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, we do a lot of business. I've been dealing with China for 35 years with corn and all of the different things." And he told me a story that was amazing. He said, 35 years ago when I started, I met a man named Xi. He wasn't president then. He was a young man. And the governor came back, he told his wife, he said, this is 35 years ago, and it's documented. He said, I just met the future president. His attitude's a little different. Our trade advisor, Peter Navarro. Right, Peter? He's a little different. We have all types. We have all types. A deputy chief of staff, Chris Liddell, has been with us for a long time, and he's done a fantastic job and had a great business career. Commerce Secretary, a legend on Wall Street, Wilbur Ross. Where's Wilbur? Wilbur, thank you. A man who knows agriculture as well as anybody in the world. We were looking for an agricultural person. And we wanted to go political, and we were looking for somebody that would fit perfectly. And Sonny came in, and it was over. I learned more in that half hour about agriculture than Joni, right? Than I could ever have learned, possibly. Sonny Perdue has been incredible, and we're taking care of our farmers, that I can tell you. So, Sonny, thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. Thank you, Sonny. And a woman, transportation's going very well. She's done an incredible job. We're getting approvals down now from 20 years, 21 years to 2 years. And it may get rejected for environmental or other reasons. But we have it, Lindsay, down to about 2 years. A highway which would have taken 19 to 20 years to get approval, we have it down to 2, and we want to get it down to 1. And if it doesn't work, we're going to say, build it. But you're not going to wait 22 years to find out you can't build the highway. And she has been fantastic. Secretary of Transportation, Elaine Chao. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Elaine. So we have tremendous numbers of people here, and I'm saying, do I introduce them? But I think I sort of should, because this is a big celebration. And by the way, some of the congressmen may have a vote, and it's on the impeachment hoax. So if you want, you go out and vote. I'd rather have, frankly, it's not going to matter because it's going very well, but I'd rather have you voting than sitting here listening to me introduce you, okay? They have a hoax going on over there. Let's take care of it. So any of you guys want to leave, we will not be with Kevin McCarthy, the great Kevin McCarthy. Okay, good. I'm glad. Can I be honest? I'm glad. I like it much better that way. And by the House folks, 195 to nothing. And we got 3 Democrats, and one of them actually left the Democratic Party, came over Republican. And what a job you've done. So I just want to thank you all. Really tough. So we have some incredible people in the audience, and I'd just like to introduce a few. A very good friend of mine, 2 very good friends of mine. Sheldon Adelson, Miriam Adelson, thank you very much both for coming. They've been tremendous supporters of us and the Republican Party. And they're great people. A man who always liked me because he's smart, so smart. The great Lou Dobbs, at first he said, he's the best since Reagan. Then he got to know me more and more, and he said, he's even better than Reagan. Then a few weeks ago, somebody told me, and I watch all the time, but somebody's got a very important show, actually, tremendous audience, and everybody in this room watches. But Lou Dobbs, he said, he's the greatest of them all. I said, does that include Washington and Lincoln? And he said, yes. Now, I don't know if he was for real, but that's okay. But he is. The great Lou Dobbs. Thank you very much. Thank you. Great show, Lou. And a man who everybody knows. He knows more than probably everybody in this room put together. He's seen it all. And he made a statement to Jared. Jared came in and said, Henry Kissinger told me,
这个
how
人
did
也
the
住在当中
president。ever pull this off? I said, can I quote Henry on that? Because Henry is
还有
outstanding.
一个众所
And
周
when
知的
Henry's
一
impressed
个
with
人，
something, then I'm impressed. And Henry, we're impressed with you. Thank you very much for
还有
being
丰
here.
富的经验。
Thank you, Henry. Thank you.
他对穆斯纳说，
And Michael Pillsbury, thank you very much. And Susan Pillsbury, thank you very much. And you've been saying some fantastic things about China and about us. And we have a good partnership. This is going to be something that's going to be very special. We're going to talk about it in a second. A friend of mine, Steve Schwarzman, is here. Steve, I know you have no interest in this deal at all.
有很好的印象
I'm。surprised you're not actually sitting over here on the ledge of the stage as opposed to. But Steve's done a great job and very good relationship with China and very good relationship with us. Nelson Peltz is here, a friend of mine. Where's Nelson? Nelson's around here someplace. Hi, Nelson. What are you doing sitting all the way back there,
还
Nelson?
有另外一个
How's General Electric doing, Nelson? He'll straighten it out. You'll straighten it out.
Sussman
He came in
did
nice and
the-
late. He didn't get in too early, that's for sure.
你也住
Hank
在
Greenberg is here.
我也
Hank,
原来以为你啊
if they took
对
care of
这个
Hank,
项目
they
不
wouldn't
感
have
兴
had the
趣，但是你
problems
在
that
这
they
做
had.
买，
Where's
为
Hank?
什么你做这个
Hank
买？
Greenberg. Oh, Hank. If Hank stayed there like he should have, you wouldn't have had the problem that you ended up having
你
with our
们这个是有可以把
economy.
工作
But
做好的。
it's great to have you, Hank. Thank you very much. We have some tremendous senators here and some
汉克，你坐在哪？
really incredible people. And I want to just say the ones that are here. If I miss your name, stand up and I will promise to say it.
谢谢你。
Because a lot of people wanted to be here. A senator who has been new to the game, and he took it up so quickly and so easily, and he ran a race that was undoable. And the person
没
he
有
ran
行动，
against
你
was
就不会碰
unbeatable.
到问题。
Nice woman, Heidi, but unbeatable. And then Kevin Kramer said, I
在
can
座
beat
的，
him.
如果我忘了
And I
介
think he
绍你
only
们
won
这
by
些
about 12 points, right?
啊，这是一个
And
历
they
史
said
性
he's
时
the
刻。
only
如
man
果你忘
in
记了，
North
你站起来
Dakota
一
that
下，
can
给
win.
我看看。
And I said, we'll do it. And I had him in my office 3 times. I said, Kevin, you got to do it. And I said, he's doing it. And he turned me down. Then he came back again. Well, this time I know he's doing it. He calls me back. He says, sir, I'm not going to do it. He said, in all fairness, I'll call you back. But I never give up, do I? So now instead of being a congressman, he's a senator. And you've been great. And thank you very much. Kevin Kramer. Mike Crapo, a friend of mine. These are all warriors. These are incredible. Mike, thank you very much, Mike. What a job you do.
排除困难，
Mike is
在
one of
女
those
权主
guys
义
goes
者盛
unsung,
行的
but
地方，
behind the
反而
scenes
给
is
了一个
nobody
中长。
sharper, smarter. We all respect you and love you, every one of these people. Thank you very much, Mike.
Kevin
Appreciate it.
Kramer 过去是一个
Steve
中原，
Dane,
现
same
在已
thing
经
I can say for my
变成
Steve,
了
and
一
he's got a
个
hell of a
参议员，
football
他
team.
在
How
做
did
的
they do
都是
this
我
year?
的
All
朋友
right? They going to be back? Are they won it again? They have a good team.
这里
They have a
面
good
有
team. Joni Ernst,
个
you got ethanol, so you can't be
在
complaining,
后
right?
面的一个英雄。
Steve,
Okay.
Steve, that's good for you
Shishim.
too. You know, Joni would call me along with Chuck Grassley.
他
They'd call us a tandem. You can't beat the two of them. All they want to know about is ethanol. Ethanol.
然后
But
说
we
这个
got
足
it
球
done.
队非常
Deb Fisher, same boat, right, Deb? You want that ethanol for Nebraska? And a friend of mine, Lindsey Graham, he's become a great friend of mine, and he's a
Johnny,
outstanding man. He
you
loves our
also
country.
hold
He really
your-
does love our country. He works like hell. Do you do anything other than politics? He likes golf
他
too.
们就想知道
He
以
likes
前
golf too. Much better golfer than people would understand. He likes golf, but he's a great
从一个
guy.
州
You get it
真的
done.
不
He
认识
brings
加
people
过来
together. Chuck Grassley, where's Chuck?
非常了不
Where's
起。
Chuck? Chuck,
He's
will you
a
stand up
nice
for a
boy.
second? This guy's the toughest guy. He can say something in a nice manner, and everybody's
打高
afraid,
高尔夫球
right?
以来，
He made Comey choke during a hearing. He said, "Did you leak anything to the
其
press?"
实
What? What?
打
What?
高尔夫
Comey
球
choked like a
比
dog, and he was
想
being
象的要
nice when he
好
said it.
这个人一
Chuck
站起来
is
好不好？
outstanding, unbeatable.
Good.
Between you and the
That's
governor, those are 2 pretty good ones, right? Unbeatable
Okay, so far,
under any
非常-
circumstance.
非常
He makes the
彬彬有礼。
rounds like virtually every night. I think you
但是-
still have never missed a vote. Have you ever missed a vote? Chuck was, huh? 93. He was in my office a month ago.
他是
And I thought
这
it
个
was
人
very
很
rude.
棒
He
啊，
said,
他跟你
"Sir, I'm
跟
sorry,
你
I
讲
have to
话的
leave."
时候都
Why? That was right in the middle of a
在
meeting.
面带
I
微
said,
笑的。
why? He said, because I have to vote. And I've never missed a vote or something. I said, how many years? He said, 1993. It's a long time. I said,
我
you
们
know
看到
what,
他
go leave.
每
That's a
一
good
次投
record
票
to keep.
他永远
Because he's a solid, reliable,
确实
unbelievable person, and he's a friend of mine. So
上个
thank
月
you
还
very
到
much,
我的
Chuck.
办公室，
And let him know also about that ethanol, Chuck. We brought home the ethanol, man, when you have those two calling. They were not nice about it, Jerry Moran. I want to tell you, where's Jerry? Jerry, they were not nice about the ethanol. I want to say that. And Jerry, with what he did, we're working together very closely together with the vets. And it's incredible what's happened with what we approved on choice. It's made a whole big difference. You don't hear complaints about the VA anymore. Do you notice? They go out and see a doctor. If they have to wait 2 months, or if they have to wait 2 days, they go out and see a doctor. Jerry Moran, folks, he did a
很多是
fantastic
农业
job.
产品发的，所以
Rob Portman, great friend of ours from Ohio. Rob, fantastic job. I just left Ohio. They love you. They love you there, and you've done a fantastic job. And you are my friend. Rob Portman.
以前他们要看医生要等2个月的时
Thanks,
间，
Rob.
通过
Pat Roberts, a man from Kansas who's going to be leaving us. I cannot believe that you're not running again. You have at least
俄亥俄州的一
at
个朋
least
友，
another 12 good solid years in the Senate if you wanted to. You have to do it, you sure, right? Okay. He's made that decision.
介绍了一个
But
叫
Pat, thank you very much, and this is very important to Pat and to Mike Rounds, because what's happened here, if you look, it's so much about everything you stand for, especially the farmers. And the farmers are going to be so happy. Where's Mike Rounds? Mike,
你还可
Mike,
以
stand up,
连
Mike.
任呢？为什
He's
么你
another one. He was
不要
brutal
不
to
要
me. He would
连
call,
选
I
呢？
got to get this done. You got to get it done, right? Thank you very much, Mike. Fantastic job. And Dan Sullivan from the great state of Alaska. And I stop there every time I can, right? And I won by a lot.
我们在
Oh,
白
they
宫，
like me in Alaska, right?
嗯，
But they like you too,
做了
Dan,
很
and
多
thank
事，
you
就
very
是因为你
much.
们坚持
Kevin
立场，
McCarthy,
你
as you know,
们
left
为
for the Hoax.
农场主啊争取权利。
Well, we have to do that, otherwise it becomes a more
达成
serious
交易，
hoax.
达成交易啊，为农
And
民
Mark
达成
Meadows,
交
a
易。
friend of mine right from the beginning. Thank you, Mark, very
在那个
much.
州，
Special guy,
我的
special
选票
friend,
不是
great
很高
wife
吗？
too. His wife actually supported me long before him, but he thinks I don't know that. She went on Women for Trump when it wasn't so fashionable. Like in the worst day of my life, she was doing Women for Trump tours with
对这个
50
假象要怎么
women
处理
on
呢？
buses all over the great state of North Carolina. She's fantastic. Vern Buchanan, thank you very much. Thank you, Vern. Great job you've done. Mike Conaway, thanks, Mike. Thank you, Mike. And by the way,
当时
Christy,
他
thank
的
you for
先
being
生，
here. I didn't know you were going to be here. Thank you. Stand
他
up.
他
We're going
希
to give
望
a fireworks display, right? Mount Rushmore.
有妇女来支持他，然后有50多个妇女
So the governor
开到汽
called.
车
He ran a great
Canaway
race.
Canaway，
Tough race. I was a
谢
tough
谢你。
competitor you had, right? A big star. And
还有一
she's
个
a good
Christy，
star, it turned out, Lindsay.
我没想到
But she
你
said, "Do you think we can get
会到这里
fireworks
来
back at Mount Rushmore?" I said, "Why? They haven't
我们
been there
请
for
你
20 years." I said, "Why?"
站起来说一
Environmental
点话。
reasons. I said, "You mean you can't have fireworks
在
because
7
of
月
the
10号
environment?" Yeah,
国庆节的时候，
environmental reasons. I said, "What can burn? It's
我没想
stone.
到
You
你
know, it's stone."
过去是我的对手，
So
但是
nobody knew
你其实
why.
呢，
They just said environmental reasons. So I called up our people, and within about 15 minutes, we got it approved. And you're going to have your first big fireworks display at Mount
放鲜
Rushmore.
花
And I'll try and get out there if I can.
好
Okay,
消息。
right? That'll be great. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks, Christy. Mike Kelly.
过
Mike,
去
thank you very much, Mike. What a friend. Drew Ferguson. What a
过
friend.
去你那边都是石头的国家公园，
Darren LaHood.
没有树木。
Great
他
job.
说现在我们通过了这法律，所以你们州那边就可以放烟火了。现在他又介绍一个叫凯蒂的朋友，叫凯蒂，凯蒂，
Patrick McKinley,
感谢你。
a man who's got such courage. Honestly, he deserves a medal. He'll probably get one. We still have to win to get medals, though, right? We can't give medals if we don't win. But this guy's never lost in his life. He is so tough and so smart. Devin Nunes. Thank you. Stand up, Devin. Everybody knows
他
him.
说，
What they put him
他
through,
说政治帕奇梅哈里的政治名誉性非常好，
what these phony people, what these dirty
说
cops and all of the others
他
put you
可
through,
以
and man, you
拿到一枚
survived
奖
it
章
better than ever, and everyone
他
respects
从
you.
来没输过，
Even Meadows
他又
respects you,
非常聪明，又很坚强，
Thank
说
you,
你
Evan,
站
very
起来
much. Great job.
大家都认识他
Adrian，Smith. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you
经
very
历了
much.
很多
And don't feel, again,
麻
you
烦
guys
事
are all set. I've introduced you.
那
Not
些
much more for you, but you know,
虚
you're
伪的
going to hear some
人
great things about
很多
China,
人
and you're going to hear
虚
some also
虚伪
great
的人
things
给你
now
带来很多
because
麻烦，
we have a
但
who's
是你
who
都
of the world of
一路
business
走
with
来，
us today.
非常感谢你，
David Abney of
非常感
UPS.
谢你。
David, where are you, David? You could stand up. Anybody wants to. If you don't want to, you know, if your company's not doing well, you don't
我
want
给
to
大
stand
家
up.
呢
But UPS is
该
doing
介
very
绍
well.
的
There'll be a
都
couple
给
that
你
will
介绍，
just sort of slink
等一下
back into their
你可以听
chair.
到
They'll pretend they're not here.
嗯
Thank you, David. Great job.
中国的
again.
情况。
Darius
现在
Adamczyk
我给
of
大家有
Honeywell.
世界
Great
商
company.
界
Thank
的
you
精
very
英
much. Great equipment you make. I have a lot of it. I use a lot of it, and the country uses a lot of it.
UPS 的老总
Mastercard.
现在
AJ, fantastic job. Josh Bolton, Business Roundtable.
你的
Thank you,
经
Josh.
经
Great
你的
job.
UPS 还
David
经营的不
Calhoun,
错
he's
吧
got a？ very easy company to run. He just took over Boeing. Where's David? David, where's David?
就是说我们国家用了
Stand
你
up,
们很
David.
多的
See,
设
they
备
wanna，stand. Let me
万
it's
事
not
达
your
的
fault. You just
万
got
事
there.
达，
You'll straighten it out quickly, please. Okay.
你们
I
在
have no
圆
doubt.
桌会议的时候也
It's a
做
great
得很好，
company. Les Daniels, USTR
这个公司很
ACTPM.
容易经营啊。
Okay.
他刚刚接手了波音，
Dan D'Amico, we've been fighting the steel
波音
thing
公司
for
的
20
David 你
years
在哪？
together, Dan. I'd like to say 30, but I don't want to do that.
那
Right? We've
前
been
面的
fighting
飞机
together
事情
for
不是你的事，
a lot
现在
longer than 20 years.
现在你刚刚接任啊，过去的不是你的错。
Took a little change at the top, didn't it? But you've been a warrior
还有介绍
for
另外一个公司 Dan
getting
D'Amico，
really taken advantage of.
我们在钢铁方面
Been a warrior, and I
一
appreciate
一直
it.
有抗争的，
Dan
已
and
经
I,
20
it
多
was a
年
fight
了
of two
啊，
people against the world. Tom
其实不止
Donahue,
20年
US
了。
Chamber Commerce.
现在我们终于赢了，
That's,
用了
listen,
25到
thank you,
30年。
Tom. Great job.
你看上层要改变人
Duperoth of
员
AIG.
才可以
You，know
你
that
做这个
company,
工
Hank?
作
AIG,
时
get
间
rid
很
of
长了吧？
AIG, Hank Greenberg.
有的
Thank you
人
very
一直
much.
占我
I
们国家的
appreciate it,
便宜
Brian. Mary Erdos, JP Morgan Chase.
Pan
They just
Donahue.
announced earnings and they were
他们在哪？
incredible.
他们在哪？
Where
他们
are
在
you?
哪？谢
They
谢
were
你，
very
你做的
substantial.
非常
Would
好
you。say thank you, Mr. President,
AIG
please?
美国国际集团的
I made a lot of bankers
格林伯格，
look
你
very
听说
good.
过国际
But
集
you're
团
doing
吗
a？great job. Say hello
哦，
to
你
Jake.
听
I
过，
think we'll see
谢
him
谢
tomorrow.
Brian。
Nancy
摩根大通，摩根大通
Falotto
金融
of
达
Ford.
摩根大通，
Nancy, where are you? Hi, Nancy.
他们
So young. So young. That's very impressive. Thank you very much.
你
You're
至
doing
少
a good job.
说谢谢你总统。
Jim
你看我
Furling,
现在
Dow
的
Chemical.
银行家
Incredible company.
脸上呢也有光了
Thank you, Jim.
啊！明天我会见你们的其中一个人。
Jack,
南
thank
希，
you.
南希，
Great.
福特公司的南希，你在哪？哦，南希，你这么年轻啊，
Keller
也
Inn.
很年轻啊
Where are you?
谢谢你，
Hi.
谢谢你
Congratulations.
啊！
Ken Griffin,
卓越
Citadel.
的工作
What，a guy he is. Where are
你
you,
们
Ken?
公司非常好
Where
啊
the hell is he?
吉
He's
姆，
trying
吉
to
姆，
hide
吉姆，
some
谢
of
谢
his money. Look, he doesn't want to stand
雪
up.
虐，
Where the
谢
hell
谢
is
杰
Ken?
克啊
See, Steve, you'll stand, and he's very
Michael
quiet
Gento.
about it. He's into some places, just doesn't want to.
，Terry 你在哪？祝贺
Harold
你，祝贺
Hamm,
你！
he puts a
Ken
straw
Griffin，
into
祝贺
the
你！
ground, and oil pours out.
他是一个很
Other
看
guys
你还
spend
在哪？
billions and
你是
billions
想
of
躲起
dollars
来
and
吗？
can't find oil. This guy takes a
他可能
straw,
不
he
想
goes
再
like
现
this
了，
on
看
oil
你在
pops.
哪？
Harold, my friend, he's
他
been
是一
with
个
me from
非
the
常
beginning,
安
right,
静的，
Harold? He was with me from the day I
肯
came down
定
the
就在
escalator
这个房间里面，
with our first
但是他
lady.
就不想站起来。
By the way, do I see John Thune in
你看，
performance?
把一根个草
God,
打
how
到
the
地
hell
上
do，I not introduce
游走出
John?
来。
They didn't have your name down. I can't believe it. Will you stand up? What a great guy he is.
他是有人发了很多米，但是他就发了一个
I also
管
see
子在
Kevin
地上就
Brady.
游走出
Thanks,
来了。
Kevin. Great job in the tax cuts. Al Kelly,
希
Visa.
望我看到你们，
Al Kelly.
我怎么
Al
没介绍
Kelly,
你呢
thank？you.
他们没写你
Brian，
我不可以
Lance，
请你站起来。
Ryan,
这个人是一个非常
you're
棒的
doing
人。
fantastically well. Most of you, I can say you're doing fantastic.
我也
well.
看到
Thank you,
Kevin
Mr.
Brady。
President. Don't worry about
你
it.
在减税方面的努力做得非常好。Visa 公司的卡利，谢谢你。
Good. Boy, you brought that
Nico
back
Phillips.
so far. I remember 7,
你
8
的
years
工作
ago,
呢
but
做得
Citibank
非常
is
好。
doing fantastically well. Raymond McDaniel
对
Moody's.
于在座的人，
Are you
你们
giving
都
us
应该
the
说
Raymond
谢谢
Raymond,
总统
please?
吧。
Okay. We're doing pretty good.
还
right?
有华清行
Sanjay Murata
的一个
of Micron.
一个人，
Incredible company, the job you're doing.
你就让我
Sanjay,
想起了
thank you,
7、8年 年
Thank you very
轻。
much. Steve
华景发
Mollenkopf,
起得很好。
Qualcomm. They had a merger going, and I said they should let that merger go
也是
by.
不是
I
很好
called
的
up President Xi,
我们做的
and
不错吧？
they rejected it, remember? And then they accepted it. By that time, you were off to another deal. You didn't even want it. But nobody else could have done
再
that,
久，谢谢
right?
你。
But you could have had it. Jim
Steve
Morrison
Mollenkopf.
of Jeep. Oh, what a great brand Jeep is. What a job
他们
they've
有个
done.
宾馆
That is a great brand.
我说
And congratulations. Larry Nichols, Devon
Nick
Energy. Larry, thank you, Larry. Great job. These are great people. Jason Oxman, ITI. Jason, thank you.
到
Great
时候
job.
我命你还跟习主席打个电
Scott
话，
Schenkel, eBay.
开始他们决绝
I
了，
signed
但是
things
后
the
来
next night I see 'em on eBay. They sold.
当他们想要再回来的时候
For a lot of，
你
money.
又
I said, sir, could
你
I
又
have
跟
you
别
just
人搞
would you
了，
sign my sneaker?
他又介绍了一下 Larry，
And 2 nights later, I see it on
Jesse
eBay selling
Max
for
Market,
$5,000. I
你
said,
做的
what
工
kind
作
of
非
people
常
are
好
these, Lindsay?
是跟学科是一倍的。
Sometimes it's the
你看我
senators
有
and the
些
congressmen that do it. That's Gary Shapiro, CTA.
有的时候
Great job, Gary. Greg Smith of Boeing also.
我签了一个名，
Get that going.
然后他们在eBay 上卖了。
You know, Boeing makes
有
a
人在
tremendous
我
fortune
签了一个
on
名，
eBay.
过了2天就卖了5000块了。没想到参议院和众议院也拿我的签名到网上去卖。
That one moving fast, and it's going to be better than
波
ever.
音的啊，
Mike Summers, API.
波音的努力一下，让波音人
Paul
振作起
Taylor
来
of。Fitch. That's another good ratings group. Are we doing okay at Fitch?
波音，我不知道他以前
Robert Thornton, News Corp. Where's Rupert? Is Rupert not here? I can't believe Rupert's not here. Is he the
波音
greatest? or
波音公司在我们美国的国民经济总产值的比例贡献非常大。
He sold it to some group that doesn't like Trump as much. That's the only problem. But he was going to get $40 billion, and he said, "I don't know. They keep bidding this thing up. They end up paying what, $75 billion?"
Rupert
He
怎
kept
么
the
回
best
来？
stuff. So Rupert's doing right, yeah? Rupert's fantastic. That whole family is just a great family. So say hello, Robert. And John Thornton. Oh, John. Where's John? Where's John? John is great. Good job, John.
他
Thank you
把
for all
原
the
来不
help.
想要的400亿的东西卖到
Jim
700亿。
Timmons, NAM.
他们家族是一个非常棒的家族。罗伯
Stephen
特，
Vaughn, King and Spalding.
江你在哪？
King and Spalding. I could
江
use some
你也
good
是
legal
非
advice.
常优
You
秀
have
的，
some good lawyers over there? I could use some
你
good
也
lawyers, right?
做得很好
Yeah, to hell with it. I just have to
谢
suffer
谢你
through
帮
it
的
the way I
忙，
have all my life. Somewhere along the line, they must be pretty good.
谢谢你 Jay。
Jonathan Ward, Atlas Organization.
Ken Spalding
Jonathan,
这
thank
个
you.
律
Great
师
job
事
you've
务
done.
所
Kevin Walsh.
，Ken 是 Spalding。
Kevin, where's Kevin?
你看我都需
I don't
要
know, Kevin.
一个好的律师啊。
I could have used you a little bit here. Why weren't you more forceful when you wanted that job? Why weren't you more forceful, Kevin? You're a forceful person. In fact, I thought you were too forceful maybe for the job. And I would have been very happy.
Kevin
with you.
Walsh，
But
Kevin 你在哪？
you understand that very well,
Kevin.
right? Bothers me when Germany and other countries are getting paid to borrow money. This is one. I don't know where that all leads. But we have to pay. We're the number one in the world by far, and we have to pay for our money. Our interest rates are set high by the Fed. Our dollar is very high.
Kevin，你过去如果卢保利，我会把一份工作给你。
Literally, they're under. They have negative rates, meaning they're under. They get paid. I love this. This concept is incredible. Again, you don't know where the hell it leads, but you borrow money, and when you have to pay it back,
美联储制定的利率呢很高
I'm，going to talk to you about
其他
it.
国家向我们借钱
We're
啊
set at 2. Tell me
但
why
是
are
我
we
们自己
paying
的
when
利率
other
才
countries
很
are
高。
getting money when they get
有的
paid
有的
back?
国家
I really wanna know the
是
people
负
who
利
write
率
this stuff.
但是还来我们
Who
这
put
趟来
money
借
into
钱。
something when they say this is a guaranteed loss? That's a whole different group of people than I know. Glenn Youngkin of Carlisle Group, great group. So, for decades, American workers, farmers, ranchers, manufacturers, and innovators have been hurt by the unfair trade with China. Forced technology transfer and intellectual property theft have been huge problems. Since China joined the World Trade Organization 2 decades
Courage
ago,
and
we have
Gary
racked up
Youngkin.
nearly
美国人几十年来，还有农场主啊，还有一些创业者啊，都是由于跟中国的不公平的贸易，变成了一个手段，强制技术转让啊这些。过去20年有差不多5万亿都没都辞职。我希望刘鹤总理呢没有听这些。你看，我们美国有很多的几千几万的公司关闭，当然这和现在美国和加拿大也有关系啊，过去的纳福达协议有关。现在你看我们跟美国和加拿大，跟墨西哥和加拿大有些协议了，这个是我们跟美国，跟中国没有的。我作为一个总统的候选人呢，我发誓要采取一些强硬的措施，这就是我要再次竞选总理的主要原因。我们还有移民的问题啊，贸易问题是最主要的。我在宾州这个州，我一定要用美国总统伟大的力量来保卫美国，不受到中国这些不公正的贸易协定的伤害。你看，我已经说到做到了。有些人做了一些假惺惺的承诺，但是他们没做到。但是我承诺的我都做到了。我们现在有这么一个协议呢，我可以让我们国家都能够受益。我们跟中国领导层习近平都有很好的关系，必须要有一定的对立性，我们不能像现在延续下去。如果我们这样延续下去，非常危险。我们要保护知识产权，这对美国非常重要。今天你看到这个协议呢，比以前的协议要好得多。我们没有对外公开。数国参议员问他说，数国没看过啊。他说我们把关税拿走了，其实他没有了，他就像一个政客一样，其实他没有看过这个协议。他也许不这样说，他也许不得不这样说，因为他是一个在野党。但是他私下说，这个对美国和加拿大都非常好。讲到金正日啊，金正日也非常尊重习主席。你看这个协议呢，不像一个挑衅，它像一个马赛克一样的句句。讲芬太尼，习主席已经制定了很有力的措施。过去很有力的题材。
Pirated and counterfeit goods, which is a big problem for many of the people in the room. The counterfeiting. We'll make sure that this happens, and we have very, very strong protection.
市场都不知道。我们在第一阶段完成了很多事，比大家想象的要多。中国也采取了一些打假的措施啊。因为制假在美国是一个很重大的问题，所以在第一协定里面对这个很强调，对知识产权的保护。
situation going on there. And a lot of it was because our companies, I have to say this, were very weak. We were very weak. You gave up things that you didn't have to give up, but now legally,
你看波音公司，你听到了吗？
under this deal, transfers and licensing
一
of
定要建上起
technology
来
will be based
不要
on
让事情发生。
that are fully voluntary and reflect mutual agreement.
过去的情
Phase
况非
one
常
will
不
also
好，
see China greatly expand imports to the United States.
当时我们
We
是很
want
懦
to
弱。
buy a
其实
lot
你
of
不
their
用放
products
弃很多，
inexpensively.
在
But
这
we
新
have
的
an
第一站协
additional
议，
200. They are going
在
to
技
be
术传译和学科证
what's
方
to
面
me very important.
要按时上
Number
条
one,
件做
they're
到。
going to be spending much
同
more
时
than
要跟你
$200
上网
billion
上
over the next 2 years,
同
including
意
up
第
to
一阶
$50
段呢，
billion just on agriculture
同时
alone.
正在
And some of the numbers that I wrote down, on manufacturing, they'll be spending
中国和
$75
美国
billion.
的
They'll be putting
进
into
口
our country. Okay, they're going to
你
be
看
putting into
我
our
们
$75 billion on manufacturing. $50 billion worth of energy. So that's great for our energy people. We're the number one in the world now. We weren't. We're now the number one energy group in the world. We're bigger than Saudi Arabia, and we're bigger than
中国要向
Russia.
我们购买更多
We're
的
bigger
东
than
西，
everybody.
他们有750的
And for those people that are in the
购
room
买
that are very much into it,
来
a
我
lot
们
of
这
the oil and
其中
gas folks
跟
in the room.
能源有关。
I'm approving some pipeline
我们现在是
projects
世界上
which will give you
一个最大的能源生产国了，我们已经比沙特阿拉伯也更多，我们比俄罗斯出口更多，所以在场的各位，我们在有很多石油业和天然气业的，在德克萨斯州我们有很多管道，本来要等15年，但是我现在推动，但是现在我推到了这个推动了。如果把那个管道搞好了以后，就可以让你们的生产增加22%，因此服务业和生产业都会增长。所以，信用卡公司呢也非常高兴。如果你们现在到中国的时候，中国人也会跟你们合作。要保护知识产权。现在这个协议里面有很重要的知识产权保护的问题。本来他们以为农场主可以拿到500亿美元的贸易量，那么我想到时候他们是买了不少。后来因为他们谈判，他们又说200亿，后来我说不，就500亿。所以我都跟农民说，他说500亿生产不出来怎么样？他说你可以到买更大的地，买更多的拖拉机，生产出来就可以了。另外还有一个货币贬值的问题，我们在美国有非常严格的贬值标准，中国有好的历史，所以我们要跟他合作。所以在货币贬值这方面有更多的限制了。除此以外，我们在协议里面也强调了有全面的监督机制，也就是很多的操作性的。也就是说，我们要把美国的农产品出口到中国的时候，他们要消除贸易壁垒，他要把我们的禽肉、猪肉、生物技术、农产品，过去它是不能这样子的。现在，本来我们只讲500亿的农产品。但现在呢，总的来说，已经超过2000亿，所以我希望大家深入去看一看。所以呢，现在你可以把所有
It was such a big deal before, and this is a much
现
more
在我们看到中国的
much
消
more
费者
targeted,
可以
much
买
more
在
powerful deal for everything we're doing, which is a very large part of the deal. But we're going to be starting phase 2 as soon as this kicks in. We'll be starting phase 2. We're leaving tariffs on, which people are shocked, but it's great. But I will agree to take those tariffs off if we are able to do phase 2. In other words, we're
但是
negotiating.
我
with
们
the
在
tariffs
做
with
交易的时候
25%
能
of
够有更多
$250
的
billion worth of goods.
交易性。
And then we're bringing the
我们
10%
在
down to 7.5%
实施第一
on
阶段交完税以后，
$300
很快要实施
billion
第二
worth of goods plus. So, but
第二
I'm leaving them on.
有的人说我们会消除第一阶段的关税，但是我们一定要保留一定的关税，这样我们才能开始到第二阶段的
That
谈
would be
判。
something that some people on Wall Street will love, but from what I see, they love this deal the way it is now. But we have very strong cards, and frankly, China and I are going to start negotiating with Bob and Steve and everybody very, very
因为
shortly.
刘贺
So
总统
from
很
this
会
nation's
谈
vibrant
判，
heartland,
如果我们不
from
留下
urban
一点
cities,
关税的话
millions，of workers and
那么
farmers and
很多的
laborers
情况都
have
变
waited
数，
decades for this day.
因为
We
刘
never even
贺
had a
非
deal
常
like
好，会
In all
带
fairness,
领
I
他
don't
的
blame
代
China.
表
I
会
blame the
谈
people
判。
that stood here before me. I don't blame China. I told that to President Xi. I was in Beijing making a speech saying how they're ripping us off. And guess what? He wasn't too happy. I looked at him. I said, he's not happy. And I said, I better change the speech quickly. So I said, I don't blame him. I blame our presidents. And I'm right. We should have done the same thing to them, but we didn't.
我过去呢
We，never had a deal
其
with
实
them.
我们不应
We
该
do
怪
whatever
中国
they。want.
其实，在我
This
前面
signing
的那
marked
些
more than just an
人
agreement.
没
It
有
marked
采
a
取
sea
行动。
change in international trade. At long last, Americans have a government that puts them first.
我不怪习主席，
First in trade,
我
first
也
in
不
every
怪
deal,
习
every
主席，
decision,
我
and
怪我
every
们自己
action
过
we
去的
take
那
with
些前任
incredible
总统，
enforceability.
没
As
有
we move on to phase 2, I look
坚
forward to
持。
continuing to forge a future of
经
greater
过
harmony,
谈判以后，
prosperity,
我
and
们
really
发生了反
commerce,
应。
commerce
第一
and
的
far
变化。
beyond commerce between the United States and China. This is something that far beyond even this deal, it's going to lead to an even stronger world peace. We now have a big investment in each other and in getting along with each other. And this deal is phase 1. We'll probably be able to conclude it with phase 2. We don't expect to have a
超过
phase
商业
3.
范围，美国和
But,
中国是可以和
it's
谐的。
something that we all want to get done.
我觉得第
And
一
it'll
阶
be
段
a
的
tremendously big deal. This
的
is
协
something
议
that's
可
going
以
to be
给我们
so
带来世
special,
界
however,
更多
to
的
our
和平。
manufacturers, our
我们
farmers,
相
our
互投资了
bankers,
这么
our
多，我们还
service
合得来，所以
Nobody's
在
ever
第一
seen
阶
anything
段
like，it. This is the biggest deal that is
合得
anywhere in the
来的
world.
话，然后我们就第二阶
And
段。
that's good. We're doing another big one next week. But this is the biggest deal anybody's ever seen. And it can lead to being a deal that's unprecedented because China has 1.5 billion people. And ultimately, in phase 2, we're going to be opening up China to all of your companies. So I hope you folks can handle it. So now I'd like to ask Ambassador Lighthizer and Secretary Mnuchin to say a few words, please. Thank you.
中国的协议能够带来空前的协议。中国有14亿人，我们需要中国的市场。现在我请
It is
来
an
的记
honor
者
to
说
be
几句
here。for this momentous event. The President has long fought for fair and balanced trade for Americans. He has for years complained about our enormous trade deficit with China and the unfair practices which have, in part, contributed to it. Indeed, solving the trade crisis was a major objective of his campaign and of his administration. The United States and China are two great countries with true great economies, but two very different economic systems. It is imperative that we develop trade and economic rules and practices that allow us both to prosper. The alternative is not acceptable for either of us. This phase 1 agreement is the result of over 2 years of hard work. It is an important part of the President's economic plan, and it is a big step forward in writing the rules needed and developing the practices that we must have going forward. This agreement will benefit both the United States and China. I am grateful to the President for allowing me to be part of this plan. I'm grateful to Secretary Mnuchin, my friend with whom I have worked so closely on this and in so many other matters. Finally, I would like to thank and acknowledge the more than 60 men and women at USTR and other agencies who have worked so hard on this day and night for so many months. I should begin with Ambassador Jeffrey Garish, who's my deputy, who led this effort. Thank you for your patriotism. I would also like to single out Ambassador Gregory Dowd, who's my agriculture deputy,
他们也
and
不
the
明在
assistant
这搞什么。
USTR responsible for this this
他是
enormous
我的一把手，非常感谢你对我的帮助。
This was a great team effort by my office as well as the
我也要
Departments of
特别提
Treasury,
出到，
Agriculture, Commerce, and many others. I
他
should
是
also
我在农业方
acknowledge
面
the
的
hard work of the Chinese side.
负责人。
Vice Premier Liu He is a leader who is diligent, patriotic, as near as I can tell, always working, and has proven himself honorable. To appreciate we appreciate also the efforts of Minister Zhong. Thank you to Lao Min, his principal, the Vice Premier's principal deputy, and the rest of your team. Once again, congratulations, President Trump, and congratulations, President Xi.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, under your leadership, the economic policies of this administration are working. Tax cuts, regulatory relief, and now great trade deals are making the U.S. economy stronger and helping American business and workers and farmers. This is an incredible accomplishment. I want to particularly thank Ambassador Lighthizer. You've done an extraordinary job leading this effort across literally an enormous resources. Every single agency contributed this, the White House. This was a real team effort, so thank you
过
very
去呢，我
much
们
for
没有
your
达成协
extraordinary
议，
job.
现在呢达成
I'd
了
also
第一
like
阶
to
段
thank
协
the
议，
Vice Premier
帮助
and
了
his
美
team
国的工人
have done this without
和农民。
This was a lot of hard work, and again, I'd like to thank you and President Xi. A great step forward, momentous agreement between our two countries. Thank you.
By the way, I have to just tell you that a woman is in the room who loves her state so much, and I didn't introduce her before because I wanted to say that you have been so great. Would you please stand up, Shelley? West Virginia Senator, thank you. So,
因
thank
为
you,
我
Shelley.
们在我们现在达成了两国之间跨进一大步的协议。
For the work we've done together, it's been an incredible number of months. It was stop and go, and it looked like it was pretty much going to be stop and never go. But I'd like to now invite you on behalf of the great nation, and it is indeed a great nation. In fact, I'd like you to just relax a little while. Take it easy. Go out, see a movie. Tell President Xi, I said, President, go out, have a round of golf. See a movie? No, 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 I am too busy. But they are workers. China is an incredible, incredible nation, and I'd like to have you say a few words. Mr. Vice Premier, please. The Vice Premier would like to read a letter that was just sent to me, I found out, from President Xi.
中国是一个伟大的国家， 他们是非常用心的人。现在请刘鹤总理的讲话。
感谢特朗普总统。下面呢，我宣读习主席给特朗普总统带的。
请刘鹤总理带了一封习主席发来的信。
总统先生，你好！在中美双方签约第一阶段经贸协议之际，我委托刘鹤副总理带去我对你的诚挚问候。
President, as China and the United
总统先生你好
States
啊，
sign the Phase One trade agreement, I ask Vice Premier Liu He to bring to you my warm greetings.
正如我在去年12月20日同你通话时指出，中美达成第一阶段经贸协议，有利于中美两国，有利于世界。这也说明中美双方完全可以在平等和相互尊重的基础上，通过对话磋商，找到有关问题的妥善处理和有效解决办法。
As I said during our phone call on the 20th of December last year, conclusion of the Phase One trade agreement between China and the US is good for China, for the US, and for the whole world. It also shows that our two countries have the ability to act on the basis of equality and mutual respect and work through dialogue and consultation to properly handle and effectively resolve relevant issues.
下一步，双方要把协议落到实处，发挥积极作用，推动中美经贸合作取得更大的进展。
In the next step, the two sides need to
现在
implement
是
the
翻译
agreement
习主席
in real
讲
earnest
的信。
and optimize its positive impact so as to make even greater progress in China-US trade and economic cooperation.
保持中美关系健康稳定发展，符合双方利益，需要双方共同做出努力。
To maintain healthy and steady growth of China-US relations serves the interest of both countries and requires joint efforts from both sides.
本着这一精神，希望美方公平对待中国企业正常贸易和投资活动，支持两国企业、科研机构、学校等开展合作，促进中美互信与合作。
In that spirit, I hope the US side will treat fairly Chinese companies and their regular trade and investment activities and give support to the collaboration between enterprises, research institutes, and schools and colleges of the two countries, as it will help enhance mutual trust and cooperation between us.
中方愿与美方相向而行，我愿与你保持密切的联系，相信在我们共同引领下，中美关系在新的一年能够给两国人民带来更多利益和实惠。
China is prepared to work with the US in that direction, and I will stay in close touch with you personally. I believe that under our guidance, China-US relations will deliver more results and bring greater benefits to our peoples in the year ahead.
再过几天就是中国农历春节了，我和我的夫人彭丽媛祝总统先生、梅拉尼亚女士和家人新春快乐，诸事顺遂。
The Chinese Lunar New Year is just a few days away. I and my wife
再
Li
过
Yuan
几天
extend
是
our
农历
season's
春节了
greetings to you, to Melania and your family. May you all enjoy happiness and success in the new year.
Thank you.
Honorable President Donald Trump, Honorable Vice President Mike Pence, Ambassador Lighthizer, Secretary Mnuchin, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today, China and the United States will be officially signing the Phase One trade agreement. First of all, allow me to pay tribute to our two presidents. I also want to thank the U.S. principals, our two economic teams, and all those who have made their contribution to this Phase 1 trade agreement. As two great countries with important responsibilities in world affairs, China and the United States, with the larger picture in mind, have taken a serious approach to our differences and worked to manage them appropriately, reaching Phase 1 trade agreement. It is good for China, for the United States, and for the world. This is a mutually beneficial and win-win agreement. It will bring about stable economic growth, promote world peace and prosperity, and is in the interest of the producers, consumers, investors in both countries. At the same time, this agreement is not directed at, nor will it affect, the lawful rights and interests of any third country. It is in line with WTO rules. A cooperative economic and trade relationship is the propeller of the overall China-US relations. Over the past 2 years, the two sides encountered some difficulties in the economic and trade field. At times, there were setbacks in our trade talks because on some issues, we don't see eye to eye. However, our two economic teams did not give up. With relentless efforts from both sides, on the basis of equality and mutual respect, we have reached this Phase 1 trade agreement. As we Chinese often say, one should not be daunted by difficult problems because there are always more solutions than problems. This is an extensive agreement. After it is signed, China will work with the US, act in the principle of equality and mutual respect, strictly honor the agreement, accommodate each other's core concerns, and ensure the good implementation of the Phase 1 trade agreement. It is the pressing need and will also play an important role in the growth of bilateral economic and trade relations in the future. As to where we will go from here, there is a Chinese proverb that goes, "The beginning is the most difficult part." There is a similar saying in English, "A good beginning is half a success." They mean the same thing. It means that we need to continue to be problem-oriented and focus on implementing the Phase 1 trade agreement so as to bring about a good start in the sound economic and trade relations going forward. As the living standards of the Chinese people rises, we will import fine quality agricultural products from countries across the world. As the two sides have agreed based on the market demand in China, in line with market terms, Chinese businesses will purchase $40 billion of agricultural products from the United States annually. If the demand is strong, the companies may buy more. To make it happen, the two governments need to foster a sound market environment for businesses to expand trade activities. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the Chinese economy is transitioning from high-speed growth to high-quality development. A new philosophy is governing our development across the board. Reform and opening up is picking up speed. This year, we will build a moderately prosperous society in all respects. China's per capita GDP has exceeded $10,000. A 400 million strong middle income group is emerging. And a massive domestic market is taking shape. China welcomes investors from around the world to China, including those from the United States, and will expand imports of fine quality products and services from other countries. China will continue to enhance the legal environment, step up the protection of property rights and intellectual property, apply a management system of pre-establishment national treatment plus the negative list, and create a level playing field. China will open itself even wider. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the world is now at a critical historical crossroads. We are faced with the major strategic choice of how to promote major country cooperation and international cooperation. China has developed a political system and a model of economic development that suit its national reality. This doesn't mean China and the United States cannot work together. On the contrary, our two countries share enormous common commercial interests, and we are faced with multiple common challenges like terrorism, counter-narcotics, widening income gap, an aging population, major diseases, resources, and protecting the environment. There is a real need for closer cooperation. President Xi Jinping points out that there are 1,000 reasons to make China-US relations succeed, and not a single one to let it fail. We must seek common ground while putting aside differences and find a path toward win-win cooperation. This has important implications for China, the United States, and the world at large. It has been and will continue to be proved that we both stand to gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation. Cooperation is the only right choice. We need to act in the overall interest of world peace and development and shared future of humanity. Pursue equal consultation with mutual respect and take forward China-US relations based on coordination, cooperation, and stability, and fulfill the great historic mission that we shoulder together. Well, I see many visionary people here in the audience who have made important contribution to the sound development of China-US relations. Please accept my most sincere appreciation. The Lunar Chinese New Year is coming soon. I extend season's greetings to you. I wish you good health and all the success. Again, thank you very much, President Trump, and thank you all. Now, I'd like to invite Ambassador Cui Tiankai to say a few words. Thank you.
And just prior to signing, we'll ask Ambassador Shui to come up and say a few words. Thank you. Yes, please.
Honorable President Trump, Vice President Pence, Secretary Mnuchin, Ambassador Lighthizer, Your Excellency Vice Premier Liu He, Minister Zhong Shan, and Governor Yi Gang, ladies and gentlemen. Just now, Vice Premier has given us a comprehensive elaboration on China's principled position on the China-US Phase 1 trade agreement. Given the highly complex international environment, reaching a China-US Phase 1 trade agreement based on equality and mutual respect is good for China and the US and good for the peace and prosperity of the whole world. We hope both sides will abide by and implement the agreement with earnest to keep the China-US trade relations in the right direction of mutual benefit and win-win, and deliver greater benefits to the people of our two countries. China's development is a result of the wisdom and hard work of 1.4 billion Chinese people. and the rights of the Chinese people to pursue a better life is what should be there. There is great potential for greater China-US cooperation, and the defining feature of this economic cooperation between our two countries is mutual benefit. People of both countries benefit from such cooperation. These facts haven't and will not change. The China-US relationship is now at a crucial juncture. As we have reached the Phase 1 trade agreement, it is now important that we leverage the opportunity, earnestly implement the strategic consensus reached between our two presidents, and keep our bilateral relations in the right direction. We need to strengthen strategic communication and dialogue on various levels to build trust, reduce misgivings, misunderstandings, and misjudgment, and properly manage differences so as to build a China-US relationship based on coordination, cooperation, and stability. To conclude, I want to take this opportunity to thank you again, friends from all the communities in the United States, for your support to the healthy growth of China-US relations. Let's work together in the new year. Thank you.
Well, just in closing, and we're going to sign right now, but it just doesn't get any bigger than this, not only in terms of a deal, but really in terms of what it represents. Keeping these two giant and powerful nations together in harmony is so important for the world, not only for us, for the whole world. And the world is watching today, so it's a great honor to be involved. It's a great honor, Mr. Vice Premier, to be with you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, and we are about to witness history here, the epic and very historic Phase 1 China trade deal at the White House. It appears that President Trump wants some of the business CEOs that came for this function to be behind the president here during this momentous occasion. If you remember, President Trump said for months and years that he wanted a fair trade deal with China. He feels that for years the U.S. has been getting ripped off by China, and now the deal is set. Phase 1 is complete there. We will see if they can make a Phase 2 happen. President Trump said that there would only be 2 phases, and this is a big moment here at the White House, as you can see all eyes on the president here and the vice premier there of China as they sign these historic papers to enter into a Phase 1 trade deal. In just a little bit, everyone, we will go to the House floor where they continue to debate, and soon they will be sending those articles of impeachment over to the Senate there, and it looks like a Senate trial could start as early as Tuesday. We don't know if that is totally confirmed yet, but the Senate trial is coming up.
各位观众，现在是个历史性的时刻，
will be happening here on News Now.
刘鹤
We'll cover it for you all.
到美国白宫代表习近平签名。
Welcome everyone here to News Now as we are just getting started with our coverage in the 11 o'clock hour.
那签这个名，为什么习近平总统不来了？
And we will be taking a short break, and when we come back, we'll take you out live on the House floor.
因为
We will
有
hear
人
both
说，
from Democrats and Republicans.
这个协议签了以后，如果不履行，有很多惩罚。 有人说，签了以后，如果不做更加麻烦，所以在网上有不同的反应。有的人不怀好意的说这是一个马关条约，这绝对不怀好意。 是川普总统的决心已定。两个元首互换协议，确实是历史性的时刻。参加签协议的人在那集体合影。在整个过程里面，我们看到川普总统。
Now at this hour, where Democrats and Republicans, they are debating, making a debate for about 30 to 35 minutes before they will be sending those articles of impeachment to the Senate. Where a Senate trial is expected as early as next Tuesday. So that's the very latest in D.C. there. Let's take you out to that debate right here on the House floor. This was just moments ago.
Prevented us from hearing key witnesses as well. This is unprecedented. Our Speaker has led our fight for a fair trial in the Senate. Above all, a fair trial must include additional documents.